Hey, this is Professor Perez from Saddleback College. Today, we are going to do operations with decimals. Now, we have a lot of work to do, so let's get started. Let's get Charlie out. He better be ready to go. Charlie, you ready to go? Yeah, you better be. Here we go, right there. The sum of 4/10 plus 3/10, Charlie. Let's first do it as fractions. 4/10 plus 3/10 is what, Charlie? 7/10. 7/10, which is 0.7. Very nice. Let's use the vertical format with decimals. Now remember, when you add or subtract, you must line up those decimals. So here we go. 4 plus 3 is 7. Bring your decimal with a 0 for the placeholder, and our answer is 7/10. Same answer, right? Okay, here's a difference of 4/10 and 3/10, Charlie. Let's do the fractions first. 4/10 take away 3/10 is what, Charlie? 1/10. Very nice, which is 0.1, 1/10. And now, if we do the vertical format, remember, line up the decimals. We subtract. 4 subtract 3 is 1. Bring your decimal down with a 0, and obviously, same answer, 1/10. Let's do the product now, Charlie. 4/10 times 3/10. Let's do the fractions first. 4/10 times 3/10. How do you multiply fractions, Charlie? Straight across the top, straight across the bottom. That's right. So what do we get? 12. Very nice there. And as a decimal, 1200ths is 0.12. Very nice. And now let's use the vertical format. Now, when you use the vertical format for multiplication with decimals, you don't have to line up the decimals. Although it looks like we did, right? Okay, now let's do our multiplication, Charlie. 3 times 4? 12. 12, carry the 1. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1, right? Now, you're going to see why I was showing you the fractions, because I'm going to explain something to you. What you're told to do is you're told to count the decimal places, right? So in the 4/10, you go 1 decimal place, meaning the denominator is 10. And you come to the 3/10, count 1 decimal place, which means the denominator is 10. 2 decimal places means you're taking 10 times 10, which is 100. So you have 1200ths, which is 0.12, which is 2 decimal places, right? There you go. Now, let's do a quotient. Don't get scared. 3/10 divided by 4/10. Let's go to the fractions first. 3/10 divided by 4/10. Charlie, what do you do when you divide with a fraction? Multiply by the reciprocal. That's right. Now, notice here, 10s cancel out. Our answer is 3/4. Therefore, 3/10 divided by 4/10 is the same as 3/4. Now, I'm going to show you right here. Watch. We're going to make it a little bit larger, and notice 3/10 divided by 4/10. If you multiply top and bottom by 10, 3/10 times 10 is 3. 4/10 times 10 is 4. So 3/10 divided by 4/10 is the same as 3/4, right? Now, when you're told to do long division with decimals, there's our divisor, 4/10, and our dividend is 3/10. You're told to count the decimal places on your divisor because you want that to be an integer value. And notice, 1 decimal place on the divisor means 1 decimal place on the dividend. Basically, you're multiplying both of them by 10. So obviously, you get 4 being divided into 3. There it is. And so now, we're going to do our long division. We did this earlier in an earlier presentation, Charlie, so we're going to move very quickly. 4 goes into 30, 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract 2, bring down another 0. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 4 is 20, remainder of 0. Therefore, 3/10 divided by 4/10 is the same as 3 divided by 4, which is 0.75, which is 75 100ths. Very nice. Okay, we got to keep going. We got a lot of stuff to do. Here we go, Charlie. Now, when you're adding decimals, basically you line up the decimals and you put some 0 as placeholders, and then you add, right, each column. Okay, but we're going to first show this with fractions. Now, again, this is not the ideal way of doing this, but we're going to show it to you anyway. Here we go, Charlie. 423 thousandths plus 130,005 hundred thousandths. Our LCD is 100 thousandths. So we're going to multiply the 423 thousandths top and bottom by 100 to get that LCD. So basically, it is 42,300 100 thousandths plus 130,005 hundred thousandths. And when you add 42,300 plus 130,005, you get 172,305 hundred thousandths. Right? Now, to change that to a decimal, remember, earlier in a previous video, we showed you count the zeros in the denominator, and that will tell you how many decimal places you need in your answer. And so we take our numerator and move 5 decimal places to get that 1.72305, which is the correct answer. Now, how do we do this in the vertical format? Well, we'll put 0.423, Charlie, over 1.30005. Notice the decimal places are lined up. And here we go. We're going to multiply that 423 thousandths, top and bottom, by 100, and we get the 42,300 hundred thousandths. So basically, you add those two zeros there, and that's why you multiply top and bottom by 100, because you want to get the LCD. Okay, that's what we're trying to explain. I know it's very tricky, but there it is. I tried to explain it. Okay, now we just add, right, Charlie? 0 and 5 is 5, 0 and 0 is 0, 3 and 0 is 3, 2 and 0 is 2, 4 and 3 is 7, and 0 and 1 is 1. And remember, when you line up the decimal places, you get 1.72305. Okay, let's continue on. Here's a difference. 0.75 subtract 1.382. You should know the answer is negative. So here, we can't use our vertical format because it doesn't work when you get a negative answer. So what we have to do is a kung fu move. We're going to take 1.382 and subtract 0.75. And we'll put a 0 as a placeholder. 2 subtract 0 is 2. 8 subtract 5 is 3. 3 subtract 7, we need to borrow, so that becomes 13 subtract 7, which is 6. And 0 subtract 0 is 0, 0.632. Therefore, 0.75 subtract 1.382 is the opposite of 1.382 subtract 0.75, which we did in the vertical format, and so our answer is a negative 0.632, a negative 632 thousandths. There's our answer there. Okay, child, I've got a couple more problems. Let's go. Here's a multiplication. Now, notice here, we're going to use a vertical format. We don't have to line up the decimals, but what you're told to do is, remember, count those decimal places. So we're going to do that first. Notice we have 3 decimal places on the top, and so that's basically 3004, and 2 decimal places on the bottom, which is 218. Remember, in our final answer, we must have 5 decimal places. So 4 times 8 is 2, 32, carry the 3. 8 times 0 is 0, plus the 3 is 3. 8 times 0 is 0, 8 times 3 is 24. Now we go to the 1, which is in the tens place right here. And so we put the placeholder, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 0 is 0, 0, 3, right? Okay, now we go to the 2, which is in the hundredths place. And so we put 2 placeholders there. 2 times 4 is 8, 0, 0, and the 6. And we add everything up here, Charlie. Down each column, we get 2, 7, right? Charlie, getting this? 8, 4, 5, and a 6. Now remember, how many decimal places do we need, Charlie? 5. 5 total. So we'll put our final answer as 6.54872. All right, we got one more problem to do. This is a division problem, right? We're taking 29.25 and dividing it by 4.5. Here, we're going to multiply top and bottom by 10 to get 292.5 divided by 45. And so we have to do long division, right? And remember, what you're told is you've got to make your divisor an integer value, which means you're going to count 1 decimal place, and in the dividend, you must also move 1 decimal place. And so obviously, it's 45 being divided into 292.5. That's what I was showing you by multiplying top and the bottom by 10. And so now, we have to figure out how many 45s go into 292. Here's a kung fu move. 45 and 45 is 90, plus another 2 45s is 180, plus another 2 45s is 270. 90 plus 90 plus 90 is 270. So that's 6 45s. 6 times 45 is 270. When you subtract 2, 2, bring down your 5. How many times does 45 go into 225? Well, 45 times 4 is 180, plus another one is 225. So 45 times 5 is 225. You subtract, you get 0. And therefore, 29.25 divided by 4.5 is equal to 6.5. There's your answer. Whew, that was tough. We'll see you all again soon.